On the January 6th insurrection joins me now. I got to imagine, I feel like the folks in the Democratic House caucus have a slightly more jaundiced view of the world's greatest deliberative body, and we're not exactly anticipating 60 votes to get this over the filibuster, or am I wrong? Where were you on that?
No, I didn't think we would have it. I mean, one of the shocking things to me is where Vice President Pence is in all of this. I mean, the plot, people forget, was against him, not against any of us. And he has not said anything. And that, to me, is the biggest indication that, you know, Chris, I was actually wrong. I thought that the defeat of Trump would mean the beginning of the end of Trumpism. The Republican Party is more of a Trump party today than when Trump was in office. I didn't expect McConnell to deliver the votes. This is why we need to eliminate the filibuster.
Well, the next option now becomes a select committee, and I'd like to hear you talk through that. You're not, you wouldn't be the sort of person engineering this yourself. You're a member of the House Democratic Caucus, but how would you think about this select committee? Because it seems like everyone can't just walk away from this, obviously.
Absolutely not, and the Speaker has kept this as an option. Look, the Speaker bent over backward to try to make this bipartisan. It would actually be good politics, ironically, to just say, well, we want just the Democrats to do it, and let's put a select committee, and that gives the Democrats the ability to subpoena whoever we wanted. And as you pointed out in your earlier segment, there may be things Republicans want to investigate that should be investigated, and that Democrats may have a blind spot. None of that is possible if you have a select committee. So the Speaker wanted it to be bipartisan, despite it politically hurting Democrats. But they didn't go along with that. So now what we're going to have is a select committee that will have Republicans on it still, but we're going to have the power to subpoena, and we will get the facts. But this is not disappearing in any way.
Yeah, and I think, the calculation here, which is so interesting to your point about, less politically advantageous. I mean, with Benghazi, right, infamously, they kept paneling committee after committee, and then they paneled the select committee. It had a Republican majority. They're the only ones who had subpoena power. They basically could steer the ship. My sense, again, I said this yesterday, and maybe I'm being naive, but I know when you guys are doing message bills, okay? Like, there are things that come out of the House that are not going anywhere in the Senate, and they're essentially passed along party lines to stake a claim in the ground. My sense, and I wonder how this was read out to the rest of the caucus, was the Thompson-Katko negotiations that were happening were genuine, real bipartisan negotiations to try to actually strike a deal. That this was undertaken to get to an actual objective and not some messaging vote.
You're absolutely right, because I was part of the Progressive Caucus saying, let's do this. And the Speaker kept actually pushing back on Progressive, saying, no, we need to do this bipartisan. We want to get this done. Look, the Speaker, for anyone who knows her, is an institutionalist. She deeply loves democracy. She loves the Capitol. She talks about being a young girl and seeing the Capitol and the formative experience that had. She is politically shrewd, but this was not about politics for her. She wanted to put a commission together to preserve democracy. And the fact that the Republicans aren't even willing to do that is sad for them, but it's sad for the country. I mean, it's sad for the country and what the Republican Party continues to become.
So you think there will be forward movement on some select committee? I mean, that's basically clear, right?
That's 100%. I mean, there's going to be a select committee. There will be an investigation. So I don't really, that's the thing. It's not even that the Republicans are making some rational choice that somehow now this won't be in the news and that they
that's a good point.
It's pure pandering to Trump and the base. The Trump's against the commission. They need to be against the commission. I mean, they're not even a rational actor in terms of politics and their self-interest, and that's what actually makes it so dangerous.
I think the only rational argument on their side, just to argue devil's advocate, is that a bipartisan commission of the 9/11 style would carry real weight and gravitas that would be more dangerous to them than their ability to say, cordon it off and say that's just the Democrats and the fake news media. I mean, I think basically they've made the calculation that that's the fight they want to have, and so that's the fight they're selecting.
I think that's a miscalculation, because at least if there was a bipartisan commission, they would have had a say on what to subpoena, what topics to cover. Right. Now you're going to have a select committee that will remind Americans every day what happened and investigate it. And so I think on the substance, it's horrible. But I also think on the politics, they made a miscalculation because they're so beholden to Donald Trump.
Yeah. Congressman Ro Khanna, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, up next.